Now, there was an important God principle that we discussed that I want to reinforce today, and it concerns the term latter days. Oh, how we've heard that term a lot. The reason we're going to revisit this is quite simple. Do you truly want to understand what lies just ahead as human history winds its way to a close? Then unraveling this Daniel mystery is pivotal. And to misread, misuse, or misapply it gives us all false expectations. We must not read into Daniel things that some branches of the modern church have established as unassailable traditions, but are in fact often little more than opinion and speculation that validates some agenda. First, there are two sets of latter-day times. The first latter days occurred in the decades leading up to when Yeshua was born to the Virgin Mary, all during his adult life as he taught and revealed his identity, and then finally as he was crucified and rose from the grave. The second latter days is still ahead of us. It's going to happen in the days leading up to when Yeshua returns, the second coming, and then when he fights the battle of Armageddon, and when he begins to reign on earth as a worldwide king. We may or may not be in those latter days right now, although it's my opinion that we are. And the main sign of that is that Israel has returned to its ancient homeland as prophesied. Such a thing can really only be determined with certainty in hindsight. Now, also recognize that only among God's Hebrew people does the concept of a latter days even exist. There was not a concept that Gentile societies of the world held, or had they created some other version of it. It's a purely biblical construction, and it is entirely related to some activity or another of the biblical Messiah. So in modern times, we have to be careful not to lump the latter days and the end times together when we're studying the Bible. Even though the two terms are related, they are not synonymous. There are two latter days. There's only one end times. Unfortunately, that exact thing happens regularly in Christian teaching about the latter days. Obviously, the first latter days, when Christ was crucified, was not the end times, because we're all still here. The world's still being ruled by Gentile governments, and Christ is not reigning in the flesh in Jerusalem. The Bible has no term for what Christians call the end times. To put a finer point on it, the term end times is a made-up term. Rather, in Hebrew, there is a term called olam haba. It means the world to come. Thus, the world to come, the olam haba, is what comes into being after the olam hazeh, the present world, comes to an end. It is the New Testament book of Revelation that puts the finishing touches on Judeo-Christian understanding of what's going to happen in the second and final latter days. Therefore, the term end times is a modern Christian label, and those words do not exist in either the Old Testament or the New Testament. So in modern Christianese, when we speak of the end times, it's an imprecise bumper sticker term. And just what it encompasses varies from teacher to teacher, denomination to denomination, and especially novelist to novelist. So let me see if I can sum this up. for the purpose of actual scripture study, as opposed to the fanciful religious debates and idle chatter of today about the end times, which consists largely of opinion, speculation, and often downright fantasy.